Hello my darlings and welcome to my channel. I hadn't actually planned on creating a second channel. It's more of a labour of love in a way, and let me tell you why. So firstly, I'm Kat. I've been an astrologer for about 15 years now. But as well as that, I'm an ASMR head and I am not the world's best sleeper. So to keep night times quite chill for myself and rest as much as I can, like many of you do as well, I'm sure, I tend to have things like audiobooks on in the background. And I like to use YouTube for that, but I struggle because if people are doing things on the camera, like if they're doing things that I can see, I really struggle to fall asleep because I want to keep watching them. So I wanted to be able to access something free on YouTube where I could just close my eyes and not get FOMO and worry I was missing something and just take the information in. But also I kind of wanted it to be astrology related because A, well, I live for it, and B, I really believe when you're in that gentle state, just as you're falling asleep, and actually when you are asleep, you're able to take information in. And I thought, well, why not? Why not listen to some astrology and get a bit better at my craft and help myself to fall asleep? Because as much as I searched and looked and searched and looked, there was nothing to help me. So if you're a bit like me, welcome. I hope you find me okay. And I hope you enjoy listening. What you may not know is that a lot of classical, traditional astrological information is readily available in the public domain. And you can read it online, you can read it in PDFs. And Vettius Valens and Ptolemy, for example, two very famous oldie-worldy astrologers, are long dead. And I don't think that they would put up a copyright claim if we sat and amused ourselves by talking about them here. So what I intend to do is to read to you from the readily available common domain documentation. So there will be videos on Ptolemy, Vettius Valens, Picatrix, Old Testament astrology, things like that. And hopefully, yeah, you can just put this on in the background, have a listen and fall asleep. I'm not quite sure how long we should make these videos, probably an hour at the most. But also, because it's YouTube and it is videos, it has to have an image of some description. So I've tried to keep that as night-timey as possible. It's dark blue, as you can see, with a little sun and a little moon. It will stay that way. We might put the title up, we might not. But yeah, enjoy, relax, get yourself comfortable, turn on, tune in and drop out. So we're going to kick off our series with the one and only Vettius Valens. And he was a 2nd century Greek or Hellenistic astrologer and a younger contemporary of Claudius Ptolemy. All in all, he wrote around 9 or 10 books worth of astrological information. We would know as the Anthology. And I believe it was Valens who gave us the majority of the information we have now on Hellenistic astrology in terms of his practical work. He demonstrated quite a few charts and how he would analyze them, as well as making references back to other astrologers of his time and before. So he really provided a great deal of information for astrology today. In fact, very, very conscientious astrologer he was. He apologised to his student Marcus, who he dedicated most of his anthology to, for not writing enough. I think I would argue he wrote plenty, and a lot of us owe a huge debt of gratitude to Valens. So on that note, let's make a start on book 1 of the anthology and the nature of the stars. In the Nativity, the all-seeing sun, nature's fire and intellectual light, the organ of mental perception, indicates kingship, rule, intellect, intelligence, beauty, motion, loftiness of fortune, the ordinance of the gods, judgment, public reputation, action, authority over the masses, the father, the master, friendship, noble personages, honours consisting of pictures, statues and garlands, high priesthoods, rule over one's country and over other places. Of the parts of the body, the sun rules the head. Of the sense organs, it rules the right eye. Of the trunk, it rules the heart. Of the spiritual faculties, the nerves. Of materials, it rules gold. Of fruits, it rules wheat and barley. It is of the day sect, yellowish, bitter in taste. The moon, lit by the reflection of the sun's light and possessing a borrowed light, in a nativity indicates man's life, body, the mother, conception, beauty, appearance, sight, living together, legitimate marriage, nurture, the older brother, housekeeping, the queen, the mistress of the house, possessions, fortune, the city, the assembly of the people, gains, expenses, the household, voyages, travel and wanderings. It does not provide straight pathways because of Cancer. The moon rules the parts of the body as follows: the left eye, the stomach, the breasts, the breath, the spleen, the dura mater, the marrow. As a result, it causes dropsy and moist syndromes. Of materials, it rules silver and glass. It is of the night sect, green in colour and salty in taste. Saturn. Saturn makes those born under him petty, malignant, careworn, self-deprecating, solitary, deceitful, secretive in their trickery, strict, downcast with a hypocritical air, squalid, black-clad, importunate, sad-looking, miserable, with a nautical bent, plying waterside trades. Saturn also causes humblings, sluggishness, unemployment, obstacles in business, interminable lawsuits, subversion of business, secrets, imprisonment, chains, griefs, accusations, tears, bereavement, capture, exposures of children. Saturn makes serfs and farmers because of its rule over the land, and it causes men to be renters of property, tax farmers, and violent in action. It puts into one's hands great ranks and distinguished positions, supervisions, management of others' property, and the fathership of others' children. Of materials, it rules lead, wood and stone. Of the limbs of the body, it rules the legs, the knees, the tendons, the lymph, the phlegm, bladder, kidneys, and the internal hidden organs. Saturn is indicative of injuries arising from cold and moisture, such as dropsy, neuralgia, gout, cough, dysentery, hernia, and spasms. It is indicative of these syndromes: possession, depravity. Saturn makes bachelors and widows, bereavements and childlessness. It causes violent deaths by water, strangulation, imprisonment, or dysentery. It also causes falling on the face. It is the star of Nemesis. It is of the day sect. It is like castor in colour and astringent in taste. Jupiter indicates childbearing, engendering, desire, loves, political ties, acquaintances, friendships with great men, prosperity, salaries, great gifts, and abundance of crops. Justice, offices, office holding, ranks, authority over temples, arbitrations, trusts, inheritance, brotherhood, fellowship, beneficence, the security possession of goods, relief from troubles, release from bonds, freedom, deposits and trust, money and stewardships. Of the external body parts, it rules the thighs and the feet. Consequently, in the games, Jupiter governs the race. Of the internal parts, it rules the sperm, the uterus, the liver, the parts of the right side. Of materials, it rules tin. It is of the day sect. The colour is grey, verging on white, and is sweet in taste. Mars. Mars indicates force, wars, plunderings, screams, violence, whoring, the loss of property, banishment, exile, alienation from parents, capture, the deaths of wives, love affairs, marriages, the loss of goods, the loss of children, lies, vain hopes, strong-armed robbery, banditry, looting, quarrels among friends, anger, fighting, verbal abuse, hatreds, lawsuits. Mars brings violent murders, slashings and bloodshed, attacks of fever, ulceration, boils, burns, chains, torture, masculinity, false oaths, wandering, embassies under difficult circumstances, actions involving fire or iron, craftwork and masonry. In addition, Mars causes commands, campaigns and leaderships, infantrymen, governorships, hunting, wild game, falls from heights or falls from animals, weak vision and strokes. Of the body parts, Mars rules the head, the seat, the genitals. Of the internal parts, it rules the blood, the sperm ducts, the bile, the elimination of excrement, the parts in the rear, the back and the underside. It controls the hard and the abrupt. Of materials, it rules iron. Decoration of clothing because of Aries, as well as wine and beans. It is of the night sect, red in colour and acid in taste. Venus. Venus is desire and love. It indicates the mother and nurture. It makes priesthoods, school superintendencies, high offices with the right to wear a gold ring or a crown, cheerfulness, friendship, companionship, the acquisition of property, the purchase of ornaments, agreements on favourable terms, marriages, pure trades, fine voices, a taste for music, sweet singing, beauty, painting, mixing of colours both in embroidery, dyeing and unguent making. Venus makes the inventors and masters of these crafts, as well as craftsmanship or trade, and work in emeralds, precious stones and ivory. Within its terms and degrees of the zodiac, Venus causes men to be gold spinners, old workers, barbers, and people fond of cleanliness and toys. It bestows the office of supervisor of weights and measures, the standards of weights and measures, markets, factories, the giving and receiving of gifts, laughter, good cheer, ornamentation, and hunting in moist places. Venus gives benefits from royal women or from one's own, and it brings very high rank when it operates in such affairs. Of the parts of the body, it rules the neck, the face, the lips, the sense of smell, the front parts from the feet to the head, the parts of intercourse, of the inner parts. It rules the lungs. It is a recipient of support from others and of pleasure. Of materials, it rules precious stones and fancy jewellery. Of fruits, it rules the olive. It is the night sect, white in colour, very greasy in taste. Mercury. Mercury indicates education, letters, disputation, reasoning, brotherhood, interpretation, embassies, number, accounts, geometry, markets, youth, games, theft, association, communication, service, gain, discoveries, obedience, sport, wrestling, declamation, certification, supervision, weighing and measuring, the testing of coinage, hearing, versatility. It is the bestower of forethought and intelligence, the lord of brothers and of younger children, and the creator of all marketing and banking. In its own character, it makes temple builders, modelers, sculptors, doctors, secretaries, legal advisors, orators, philosophers, architects, musicians, prophets, diviners, augurs, dream interpreters, braiders, weavers, systematic physicians, those in charge of war and strategy, and those undertaking any unusual systematic work in accounting or with reasoning. Mercury makes weightlifters and knights, those making their livelihood with displays of skill, deception, gambling, or sleight of hand. It also rules those skilled interpreters of the heavens, those who by using pleasure or winning charm earn fame for their amazing feats, or for the sake of gain. This star's effects go in many directions, depending on the changes of the zodiac and the interactions of the stars, and yields quite varied results. Knowledge for some, selling for others, service for others. It grants authority, rentals, labour contracting, rhythmical performance, the display of public service, acquisition of personal attendance, or the right of wearing temple linen, robed in the luxury appropriate to gods or rulers. As for the end result, Mercury will make everything capricious in outcome, and quite disturbed. Even more, it causes those having this star in malefic signs or degrees to become even worse. Of the parts of the body, it rules the hands, the shoulders, the fingers, the joints, the belly, the sense of hearing, the arteries, the intestines, the tongue. Of materials, it rules copper and all coins used in buying and selling, for the god makes exchanges. It is blue in colour and sharp in taste. The benefic stars, which are appropriately and favourably situated, bring about their proper effects according to their own nature and the nature of their sign, with the aspects and conjunctions of each star being blended. If, however, they are unfavourably situated, they are indicative of reversals. In the same way, even the malefic stars, when they are operative in appropriate places in their own sect, are bestowers of good and indicative of the greatest positions and success. When they are inoperative, they bring about disasters and accusations. Each star is the ruler of its own element in the universe with reference to sympathy or antipathy or mutual influence. Their aspects are blended according to their applications or separations. Their superior aspects or blockages, their attendants, their ray shooting, or the approach of their masters. The moon becomes the ruler of foresight, the sun the ruler of light, Saturn the ruler of ignorance and necessity, Jupiter the ruler of rank, crowns and zeal. Mars becomes the ruler of action and effort, Venus the ruler of love, desire and beauty, Mercury the ruler of law, friendship and trust. These stars have their own effects. Now that these matters have been settled, says Valens, the nature of the 12 signs must be mentioned. So that seems like a perfect place to end this particular video. We'll start a new one up again soon, where we discuss the 12 signs of the zodiac according to Vettius Valens. Until then, night night, sweet dreams.